Right. We will start the lecture. So previous class we discussed single phase, off bridge and full bridge inverter. So now we'll move to three phase. So in previous class we discussed that different terminologies. Previous class we discussed different terminologies that are related to this three phase inverter. So we discussed this is phase voltage. So this is DC bus positive terminal and this is DC bus negative terminal. You have this A phase, B phase and C phase. Right. So here this voltage VAN. So voltage VAN is terminal voltage. VAN, VBN and similarly VCN are the terminal voltages. Right. So VAB, VBC and VCA are the phase voltages. So the line voltages. Right. So we cannot directly obtain the line voltages. So this can be obtained. So by measuring this terminal voltages VAN, so this VAB can be obtained by VAN minus VBN. Similarly, this is VBN minus VCN, and this is VCN minus VAN. Right. So from terminal voltages, so we can obtain these line voltages. Three-phase inverter, it's also known as two-level inverter. It's also known as two-level inverter, right? So for suppose, if we assume that the switch S1 is on, if we assume that this S1 is on, right? So what is the voltage across VAN? If S1 is on, what is the voltage? Voltage across VA, this point and this point. What is the voltage
Yes,
between these 2 points?
yes, yes.
It is VS,
Yes.
right? So when switch S on. Similarly, with switch S4 is on, if S4 is on, so what is the voltage across VAN?
Zero.
Minus this.
This switch is on, right? So this point is directly connected to this one, right? If this switch is on, right? So this point is this A is directly connected to this N, right? So therefore, it's 0, right? Okay, so it is producing two levels in the voltage, in terminal voltage. So that is either Vs when the upper switch is on, voltage is Vs. When the bottom switch is on, voltage is 0. So therefore, so normally it is known as two-level inverter, right? Similarly, the same thing in B phase, if S3 is on, so voltage across Bn is Vs. If bottom switch S6 is on, so in that case, the terminal voltage VBN, so that is 0. Similarly, this VCN, if S6, S5 is on, that is upper switch is on, voltage is Vs. So if bottom switch is on, so voltage is 0. Right. So here, by measuring this terminal, we can obtain these line voltages. Or so there is another one. So by using these pole voltages that we discussed, so these are these imaginary voltages. So we assume that this DC link is split into two, right? By using large capacitors, here this capacitor's value we assume that is almost close to infinite. So this middle point, so I assumed as this is 0 or O, right? So here this capacitor, this voltage is split into two parts. It is Vs by 2, it is Vs by 2, right? So now we have this pole voltages VA0, VB0 and VC0. So these three are pole voltages. right? So these are pole voltages, right? So here also this VAB can be written as VA0 minus VB0. Similarly, the other line voltages. Clear? The same thing, right? So when this S1 is on, right? So when S1 is on, what is the voltage across VA0?
Vs by 2.
When S1 is on, what is voltage across VA0?
Vs by 2.
BS by 2.
Vs by 2, right? When S1 is on, so VA0 is Vs by 2. So when bottom switch S4 is on, what is voltage?
Minus Vs by 2.
Minus Vs by 2, right? Either plus Vs by 2 or minus Vs by 2, right? So again, you have two levels. Again, you have two levels. So that is plus Vs by 2 or minus Vs by 2, right? So that's why it is known as two-level inverter, right? So that's why it is known as two-level inverter. Clear?
What is the purpose of this fictitious node, sir?
So what is the purpose of
this fictitious node that you said in the last class? This is fictitious node.
So this is used to analyze, right? You cannot directly obtain this A and B, right? See here, for example, this S1 is on and S3 is on, right? So what is the voltage across VAB?
0.
What is the voltage across VAB?
Yes.
0. If S1, this upper switch and
0,
this
sir.
S3, the both are on, its voltage is 0, right?
Yes, 0.
Okay. Similarly, you cannot directly analyze this, right? Similarly, if S1 is on, S6 is on, so what is the voltage? You cannot directly analyze, right? So this fictitious node is to analyze the circuit. Okay. Other than that, there is no purpose for. Okay. So right. So this can be analyzed by using this method, or by using this method, or straight away you can analyze without the help of these things, right? You can directly analyze that, so that we will discuss, right? So these three-phase inverters, so normally operate in two modes. All right. So one is 180-degree mode, and the other one is 120-degree mode. 180-degree mode of operation or 120-degree mode of operation. So first we will discuss this 180-degree mode, right? So here, so 180-degree mode, each device in this case for 180 degrees. So we have 6 devices are there, right? Starting from S1 to S6. So that means each device will conduct for 180 degrees. Similarly, in 120-degree mode of operation, so each device will conduct for 120 degrees, right? So every 60-degree interval, the transition changes, similar to thyristor. In thyristors also, right? Every 60 degrees, in three-phase rectifier, in every 60 degrees, there is a transition. So one device will be outgoing device, and there is another new incoming device will be appear, right? So here also, so first we'll discuss this. For 180-degree mode of operation, right? So this is the firing signal for the switch S1. So this is firing signal for the switch S2. So this is firing signal for switch S3. So this is S4, S5, and this is S6. Right. So I assume that, so these are some lines are there. So each interval is 60 degrees. Right. So here each interval, you see this interval is 60 degrees. I assume this is mode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right. So up to here, so there is one complete cycle. Right. From here, so there is one complete cycle. So that means from here, it is one complete cycle. Again, it will be 1, 2, and so on. Right. So that means this entire up to this 6. So here it is 360 degrees, right? That is equal to 1 cycle of fundamental. Clear? 1 cycle of fundamental, right? So here in 180-degree mode, so each device will conduct 180 degree, right? So that means this S1 is conduct for 180 degree. So that means 3 blocks, right? These 3 blocks, right? Similarly, S2 is conduct for another 120 degrees. So with 60-degree gap. So this is S2, and similarly this is S3, and this is S4, right? This is I, right? So it is going to the next cycle, and this is S6. It's clear, right? So here coming to this one, right? So in S5, right? In S5, so here, so each device will conduct for 180 degrees, right? So therefore we have to fill this space. So this is, it will also conduct here, right? So you left it 1, 2, 3, right? So after 3 160 degree 180 degree interval, again it starts conducting, right? Similarly, this is S6, so it will be like this, right? Agree? Right. So you have this 120 degrees here. From here 180 degrees there is no conduction. In subsequent 180 degrees, so it is turned on. It's clear. So if you notice that this S1 and S4 are complementary, right? This switch S1 and this switch S4 are complementary, right? So when S1 is on, the S4 is off. Again S1 is on, S4 is off, right? So here this S1, so this is upper switch and this is bottom switch, right? So both switches must be complementary, right? So the same thing is followed here, right? Clear? So now in first mode or first sector, so how many devices are conducting? In each case there are 3 devices are conducting, right? So this S1 is conducting, this S5 is conducting, and S6 is conducting, right? So that means device 1, 5, 6 are in conduction, right? Device 1, 5 and 6 are in conduction. So that means we will write like this: 5, 6, 1. Right? 5, 6, 1. Similarly, in the next 60 degrees, so this device S1 is conducting, ST is conducting, and 6 is conducting, right? So that means it is 6, 1, 2. In the next 60 degrees, 1, 2, 3 is conducting, device 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, and it is 4, 6, right? Similarly, in this, so this device will conduct here. So that means it is 5, 6, 1, right? So this 5, 6, 1, it started with 5, 6, 1, and it is ended with 4, 5, 6. And in the next cycle, it is started with 5, 6, 1 again. So at the same time, at any time, so 3 devices are in conduction. At any time, 3 devices are in conduction, right? Clear? So now I will erase this. So let us analyze this mode 1 or this Mode 1, right? So how many devices are conducting here? So 5, 6 and 1, the 3 devices are conducting. So this is S1 is conducting, S5 is conducting, and S6 is conducting. So at the same time, so 3 devices are in conduction, right? So 1 in each phase leg. In A phase leg, this S1 is conducting. In B phase leg, S6 is conducting. In C phase, S5 is in conduction, right? In C phase, S5 is in conduction. So now, so we'll identify the line voltages. So this is VAB, VBC, and this is VCA. So we'll try to draw the line voltages VAB, VBC, and VCA. Okay. So VAB, right? So voltage across A and B, right? So can anyone tell? So what is voltage across A and B? When S1 is conducting and S6 conducting, what is voltage across A and B, right? So this S1 is conducting, right?
Yes,
so that means this is connected here,
Yes.
right? And this point is connected here, right? So what is the voltage?
Yes, sir.
What is the voltage between these 2 points?
VS.
Yes.
This A is connected to
VS.
positive, right?
VS.
And this B is connected to this negative. So voltage is VS, right? Okay. This voltage is VS. At the same time, what is voltage BC, VBC? Voltage across B and C.
Minus VS.
What is voltage between B and C? Right.
Minus
This B
VS.
is connected to this bottom switch is on. So that means B is connected to the negative plate of this DC source, and C is connected to the positive plate of DC source. So that is minus VS. At the same time, what is VCA?
0.
What is VCA? CA, right? This is C phase and this is A phase, right? So this A is connected to
0.
this point, right? And this A, it's right. So this source is bypassed, so therefore its voltage is 0, right? So this is right. So during when in first 60 interval, so these are the output voltages, right? So we'll try to draw these. So this VAB is VS. This VAB is VS, right? And this VB is, what is VBC? Minus VS, right? So you have this minus VS. You have this minus VS. And this VCA is 0. So I filled with 0. Clear? So this is during the file, right? So when come to the second one, second 60 degrees. So which device are in conduction? 6, 1, 6, 1 and 2 are in conduction. Six is in conduction, 1 is in conduction, and 2 is in conduction, right? Notice that the transitions are like this. If it is 561 and 561 and 612, right? So here this 5 is the outgoing device and 2 is the incoming device, right? 2 is the incoming device. So here both, and again in the next case it is 3. Again this 1 is the outgoing device and here this 3 is the incoming device, right? So if you notice that, so here this 6 is present here and 6 is present here, right? So that means, right, this S6 will conduct for how much time? Okay. So this S1 is the outgoing device and S3 is the outgoing device, right? So here it is 60 degrees, right? So that means it will conduct 20 degrees, right? Okay. So in 612, what is VAB, VBC, and what is VCA? What is VAB? And 6 were conducting.
VS.
Yes.
It is VS, right? Okay, this S6 is conducting here and this S conducting, right? The same thing, right? So this A is connected to this positive and this B is connected to the negative plate of DC source. So this is VS. In VCA, sorry, this is VBC, right? This is VBC. What is VBC?
0.
0.
So both upper, see if it is that, so upper switches, both upper switches are on in any two phases, it B or C. If both upper switches are on, its voltage is 0. Similarly, if both bottom switches are on, its voltage is 0. That means the source is bypassed. So here this is 0 and VCA
Minus VS.
Yes.
minus minus, right? So I will draw here, right? So this VAB remains same as plus VS, right? It remains same as plus VS and VBC. So that is 0. It is 0 here and VCA is negative. It's clear? Right? In the third case, so devices 1, 2, and 3 are in conduction. Now VBC and VCA, 1, 2, and 3 are in conduction. So this 2 is conducting, and now this 3 is conducting, right? So what is VAB?
0.
Switches are on, right? So
0.
therefore VAB is 0 and VBC is plus VS, right? And VCA is minus VS. So VAB is 0, it is plus VS, and this is minus VS. Okay. So now, so this is reached to 0. So this is 0 now, and this is plus VS, and this is continuing the same. So that is minus VS. Okay. Right. So now you can estimate waveform, right? So now you can estimate this waveform. So here, so what should be in the fourth one? In this one, what should be VAB?
Yes. Minus VS.
Minus VS.
So it's supposed to be minus VS, right? It is minus VS. It should be there for another 60 degrees. So after that, it will be reached to 0, right? Again,
VS.
something like shape you will get, right? Okay. Similarly, VBC, it is continue for another 60 degrees. So after that, it will become 0. And here, so it will be like this. So this is 0. Clear? The waveform will be something like right. So here it is varying from plus Vs to Vs, and voltages are varying from plus Vs to Vs, right? And some 60 degrees interval in each off cycle, its value is 0, right? So the waveform will be something like this. So if you assume this is one cycle, right? Somewhere you have this pi, right? So this is 2 pi. So what is this angle? So this is corresponding to pi by 6, right? So here, so this is each one is conduct for 120 degrees, right? So this is in the negative half cycle, is conduct for another 120 degrees. Okay, clear? So this is how much it is? 5 pi by 6 or 11 pi by 6, right? This is 11 pi by 6. Agree? Right? The same thing, I just changed that. So this is what you got, right? So here in first, this is the waveform, so that what you got, right? So this is corresponding to time period T. So this is the waveform that you obtained, right? So this is the waveform it is obtained, right? So here it is conduct for 120 degrees. So this is 60 degrees, another 120 degrees, and this is 60 degrees, and the total is 360 degrees. I just changed this to look like more symmetrical, right? So both forms are same, right? So both are same, right? Just arrange this into a symmetrical one, right? So this is same thing, 120 degrees, 60 degrees, and this is 120 degrees, and this is 60 degrees. Okay. So both these are identical, right? I just changed the reference. Clear? To look like a quasi, this is a quasi square waveform. This is square waveform. So it is changing from plus Vs to minus Vs. Clear? So what is the RMS value? So this is AC waveform, right? So here, what is the RMS value? VAB RMS. What is the RMS value of this waveform?
Root 2 by 3
What is the
ds.
RMS
Yes,
value of this waveform?
Root 2 by 3.
Yes, root 2 by 3.
What is the RMS value of this
Root 2 by
waveform?
3 into Vs.
So here for square wave, that means the complete square waveform, right? So its RMS value is same as its peak, right? So in case of this quasi square waveforms are like this, right? Clear? So how much it is actually present? This is if you assume this one half cycle, right? If you consider one half cycle, right? In half cycle, so how much portion is actually present? It's easy to calculate the RMS value of this quasi square waveform, right? So how much it is there? It is, this is for 0 to from. So this point from here to here, right? So this is 180 degrees, right? So here to here, this is 180 degrees, right? So in this case, so 180 degrees, right? So in this case, only 120 degrees is present, right? So therefore, its RMS value is 120 degrees by 180 degrees into its peak value, or it's outside this one, right? So that means it is root 2 by 3 Vs. It is root 2 by 3 Vs is its RMS value, right? In case of it is a full waveform, so in that case, so instead of the, if it is a complete square waveform, so instead of 120 degrees, you will get 80 degrees. So that means you will get Vs. Okay. The RMS value of this waveform is root 2 by 3 Vs. Okay. So now by using the Fourier series, so we'll decompose this waveform, right? By using this Fourier series, we will decompose this waveform into different harmonic components, and we will see what exactly the fundamental waveform inside this waveform, right? Inside this quasi square waveform. So that is very important. So when designing a converter, so how much fundamental actually you are getting from the given DC source, that you must know that, right? So then only you can properly design anything, right? So now we will decompose this one. So I will consider VAB of T. Okay. So already we did this, right? So it is A naught by 2 plus sigma n equal to 1 to infinite an and all these things, right? So here also in previous class we discussed that if you take this one as the reference, if you take this one as the reference, all that an terms will be 0. This an terms will be 0. Only this bn terms will be present, right? Instead of that, the middle of that pulse is taken as the reference. So in that case, you will get cosine terms, that is an is some finite value and the bn will be 0, right? I consider this this is the reference. I consider this is the reference, right? So therefore, anyway, this a naught is 0 because this waveform is symmetrical. This waveform is symmetrical. So therefore, this this a naught is 0 and this an is also 0 by considering that, by choosing the reference. And this bn, right? In case of bn, right, if we integrate this bn, right, so what is the integration? It is 2 by pi into integration of 0 to 2 pi VAB, right, into sine omega t, sorry, n omega t d omega t, right? So by doing this, so you will get 4vs by n pi, 4vs by n pi sine n pi by 2 into sine n pi by 3. Okay. If you compare this one, right, with earlier one, if you have a complete square waveform, right, so in this case, so bn what you got is 4vs by n pi. Okay. So now with that notch, right, so this changed as 4vs by n pi into sine n pi by 2 into sine n pi by 3, right? So now if you notice that for each even value, what is this value of bn?
0.
For bn, so if n is even, right, if n is even, what is bn? If n is even, what is bn?
0.
0, sir.
It is 0, right? Okay. If n is multiple of 3, if n is multiple of 3, for example, if I substitute n equal to 3, what is this value?
0.
0.
So because of this n pi by 3, its value is 0, right? Or similarly, if it is n is 9, right? So in that case also, you will get sine 3 pi, its value is 0, so that is 0, right? So that means all the even numbers, it is 0. All the multiples of 3, that is triplet harmonics, so that is triplet harmonics, right? So harmonics of order 3, right, that is 3, 6, 9, 12, and all these things are 0, and this even order harmonics 2, 4, 6, 8, all these things are 0, right? So what you left now? What you left now? So
1,
only
5,
one, that is fundamental. You have this 5th order harmonic, 7th order harmonic. So 9 is absent, right? 11 and this is 13 and so on. So only these things are left, right? Okay. So now we will extract this waveform, that is actual waveform we will write. So that is fundamental. So substitute n equal to 1, right? If you substitute n equal to 1, so what is its value? I substitute n equal to 1 here. So 4vs by pi into, so this is sine pi by 2, it is 1 into sine pi by 3, right? So you left with 4vs by pi, 4vs by pi into sine pi by 3, right? Into sine omega t. So this is the fundamental term. Second term, when you n equal to 5, if you substitute n equal to 5, what you will get? So 4vs by 5 pi into sine pi by 2. What is its value? Sine 5 pi by 2?
-1.
What is the value of sine 5 pi by 2? What is the value of sine 5 plus 1 or minus 1?
Plus 1.
Plus 1.
Sine 5 pi by 2. What is its value?
Plus 1.
Plus 1, right? Similarly, sine 7 pi by 2.
Minus 1.
Minus 1.
Minus 1, right? Okay. So now the second one is the fifth order harmonic is 4b by 5 pi into sine 5 pi by 3, right? You have this plus 1, right? Into sine 5 omega t, and seventh order harmonic, so it is sine 7 pi by 2, right? So therefore it is minus, this is important, it is 4vs by 7 pi sine, it is sine 7 pi sine 7 pi by 3 into sine 7 omega t plus and so on, right? Is clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear? So fifth order harmonic, right, it is rotating in one direction, right? This, right, you might have studied this in symmetrical components. So here positive sequence and negative sequence you have studied, right? So this is fundamental. So if you assume this is positive sequence harmonic and this will be the negative sequence, right? That means it is rotating. If this is rotating in this direction, right, harmonic is rotating in this direction, the seventh will be rotating in the opposite direction. Okay. So this minus sign indicates that. Clear? Okay. This is actually rotating in this direction and this is rotating in the opposite direction. Clear? So we have this fundamental fifth order harmonic, seventh order harmonic, 11th and 13th order harmonics, right? Okay, now we will find out the fundamental RMS value. So what is the RMS value of this waveform? What is the RMS value of this waveform? 4Vs by pi into sine pi by 3, that is its PLU divided by root 2. So that gives you the RMS value, right? If you do that, so you will get something around 0.78 Vs. Okay. So this is 0.78 Vs. If you actually compare this one with square waveform, so that what we obtain for single phase, that is single phase, right? So its RMS value is, say in previous class you obtained this 0.9 Vs, right? So now it is three phase and this is line voltage. This is important. So this is 0.78 Vs. 0.78 Vs. Clear? So what is its significance? For example, if you want to design a 415 volts inverter, that is output voltage line to line, right? What should be the value of VDC? What should be the value of VDC? So it's 415 by 0.78. It is 415 by 0.78. So that should be the value of VDC, right? So what is this value? 415 by 0.78?
576.92. 576.92.
576.9 volts, right?
92.
Okay. Right, something like this you will get, right? So here, if you want to operate, means if you want to design a three-phase inverter, especially in square wave mode or so you need to select at least 576.9 volts so that you can get this 415 volts, right? So this is the maximum voltage one can achieve from the inverter, right? So this is maximum voltage one can achieve from the inverter, that is 0.78 Vs. Okay, so this is the maximum voltage you can achieve from the inverter. So maximum VAB line voltage is fundamental value. So this one means, right, this one is fundamental value. Clear? Similarly, we'll find out the THD, the total harmonic distortion of this waveform, the total harmonic distortion of this waveform. So previous class we derived one formula, right? So what is formula for total harmonic distortion? THD. So we derived, right, output voltage RMS value by fundamental square minus 1, right? So we derived this, right? So what is the RMS value of this waveform? What is the RMS value? So that is 2 by 3, sorry, square root 2 by 3 into Vs by V1. So what is V1? So that is 0.78 Vs. So square of this one minus 1. Clear? So if you do this, you will get a THD of 30.94%. It is 30.94%. So why it is reduced? So in previous case, you got something around 48%, right? Because the third order harmonics, all the triplet harmonics are eliminated, right? So therefore this THD is reduced. Okay. This THD is reduced because all the triplet harmonics are eliminated. Clear? Right. The harmonic spectrum is something like this. You have this DC, that is harmonic frequency. So you have this fundamental, so corresponding to 100%, right? And you have this fifth harmonic, its magnitude is 20%, and seventh order harmonic, its magnitude is 100 by 7%, right? It is 100 by 7%. Clear? So the total THD of this waveform is 30 point or around 31%. Okay. So this is about 180-degree mode of operation. Right, this is about 180-degree mode of operation and how to directly up the line voltages, how to directly obtain the line voltages. Similarly, if you want phase voltages, right, so phase voltages here, so there is direct, you cannot directly access this phase voltages, right? So once you connect the load, so then only you can access the phase voltages, right? So phase voltages, for that previous class we discussed it, right? You need to connect some load. So I assume this is the three output terminals, phase, B phase, and C phase, right? So I connected a load here. So this is load neutral. Now I want to analyze VAN, VBN, and this VCN, right? So assume that this load resistance is R. Okay. So I assume that this load resistance is R. So I want to draw VAN, VBN, and VCN in all the 6 intervals of each 60 degrees, right? In first interval, so 561 are conduction, right? 561 is in conduction. In first interval, so 561 is in conduction, right? In case of 561 is in conduction, this is 5 and 6 is conduction, right? So this A is connected to in 561, right? In case of A phase, this A is connected to this DC source positive terminal, right? A is connected to this DC source positive terminal, and B to negative terminal, and C again is connected to positive terminal, right? So therefore the equivalent circuit in case of this one, so this is Vs, you have this DC, right? And you have somewhere you have phase. So this is B phase and this is C phase. Okay. Right. So this is B phase and this is A phase, right? So here if one is conduction, right? So that means if one is conduction, so this A is directly connected to this positive plate. So that means here this is the equivalent circuit. So this point is directly connected here, right? Agree? And B is connected to where B is connected. This B is connected to this negative plate, right? So this B is connected to the negative plate, and C is connected to, and this C is connected to this positive plate, right? Clear? The C is connected to this positive plate, right? So that means, so this is, I will interchange this one, right? I assume this is B, this is connected to the negative plate, and this is C, and this is connected to the positive plate. Okay, and this is load neutral N. So this is for when it is 5, 6, and 1 is in conduction. This is clear? So now I want to calculate VAN, VBN, VCN at the same time. Can anyone tell what is VAN?
VS by 3.
What is
VS by 3.
VAN?
VS by 3.
VS by 3.
VS.
VS by 3.
VS by 3.
VS by 3, right? If you apply simple KVL and KCL, right? So you can get VS by 3. What is VBN?
2 VS by
Minus 2 VS by 3.
minus 2 VS.
Minus 2 VS by
VS by minus 3, right? And what is VCN?
VS by 3. VS by 3.
VS by
VS
3.
VS by 3. Okay. So simple, you can directly connect by assume this is current I, right? The same current I is leaving here, right? So therefore this current is I by 2, and this current is I by. So from that you can calculate the voltage drop across this A and N, right? Okay, you assume this load resistor R here, all are equal, right? Okay, clear? Since the current is flowing in the opposite direction, so therefore you will get this negative sign in the B phase, that is VBN is negative. Clear? So if you draw this one, if you complete this one, so some like this you will get. Similarly, for 6, 2, you can analyze this, right? If you analyze this 6, 1, 2, you have 3 values. So if the complete draw means if I draw it for A phase, so something like you will get. So this magnitude is VS by 3. So this is 2 VS by 3. So there is no 0 here. Okay. So this is VS by 3, and this is, and this one is plus 2 VS by 3. Okay, so this is minus VS by 3, and this is minus 2 VS by 3. So this is VAN. So A phase corresponding voltage. So rest of the phases VBN and VCN are displaced by 120 degrees. Okay. So VAN, VBN, and VCN are displaced by 120 degrees. It's clear? So here each duration is 60 degrees. So this duration is 60 degrees. So rest of things you can write it, right? Here, so normally we'll not worry about this phase voltage. Right. So this phase voltage, you won't see here. In normally, we had 2 different types of systems. One is 3-phase, 3-wire. In 3-phase, you might have studied, right? 3-phase, 3-wire, and 3-phase, 4-wire systems. Okay. 3-phase, 3-wire, and 3-phase, 4-wire. In 3-phase, 3-wire, so there is no neutral. Okay. In 3-phase, 3-wire system, there is no neutral wire. In case of 3-phase, 4-wire, so neutral wire is present. Okay, neutral wire is present, or it may be grounded. So that means neutral wire is used to obtain the single phase or to connect the single phase load, or it use it to some other purpose in case, or it may be grounded. If the neutral wire is grounded, so then only it is 3-phase 4 wire, or neutral wire is used for some other purpose by connecting a single phase load or return part to the motor, so then only it is 3-phase 4 wire. In case of 3-phase 3, so there is no neutral at all. That means even it is not grounded. Okay, so that is 3-phase 3 wire. In case of 3-phase 3 wire, we will never worry about the new phase voltages. We will be interested in line voltages. Okay, we are only interested in line voltages, and we never bother about the shape of phases, right? In case of 3-phase 4 wire, so we have to check both phase voltage and both, means we have to check phase voltage and line voltage. Okay, right? If any deviation in the phase voltages, so that will distort the line voltage. So whereas in case of 3-phase 4 wire, the CB wire, if any changes in the phase voltage, so that will normally not change the line voltage. Clear? So normally all systems that are used in industry are normally of 3-phase 3 wire. So therefore we will not worry that much on this phase voltage. So only interested in this line voltage. Okay. Right. This is about 180-degree mode operation and its corresponding THD and all other. Right. So we will move to this 120-degree mode of operation. We will move to 120-degree mode of operation. I'll just briefly complete this one. So in 120-degree mode of operation, so each device will conduct for 120 degrees. Right. So if this is S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. So that means each device will conduct for 120 degrees. So this is S1. So this is S2. So this is S3, S4, and this is S5, and this is S6. Okay. So here there is no conduction. It will be conduct only here, right? Okay. So why it in earlier case we have this form, right? So in earlier, so there is conduction here also, right? Because it is 120 degrees, so here there is no conduction. Okay. So if you notice that at any time, so only 2 devices are in conduction. Earlier 3 devices are in conduction, right? So now we have only 2 devices are in conduction. So that is 6 1, next one. So that is 1 2, 2 3, 3 4, 4 5, and 5 6, and a subsequent cycle. So here there is conduction here. So now it is 6 1. Okay. So earlier 3 devices are in conduction. So now only 2 devices are in conduction, right? Clear? So in first mode, so 6 and 1 are in conduction. This 1 is in conduction, and this 6 is also in conduction, right? And there is nothing from this C phase. That means this C phase is floating now. That means no wire is connected. So this C phase is floating, right? Clear? So when the C phase is floating, right, you cannot predict what is the voltage between VBC and VCA. Right? This C phase not to any switch, right? So therefore you don't know what is voltage at this point, right? So therefore you cannot predict this B phase voltage and this V phase voltage, right? So but you can this VAN and VBN and VCN connect some load here. Okay. VAB, VAN. What is VAN? When S1 is on, what is VAN? See here in 120-degree mode, see in case of 180-degree mode, right, all the phases are in conduction, right? Any one device from each phase are in conduction. In case of 120-degree mode, right, one phase is left open, right? All the time, one phase is left open. So therefore, you cannot directly obtain the phase voltage, sorry, line voltages. So only way is you can obtain the phase voltages. So VAN. So when you connect this one, so this voltage is plus Vs, right? This voltage is plus Vs. So plus Vs. What is VAN?
Vs by 2.
Vs by 2, right? So this is plus Vs2 by 2. And VBN, what is VBN?
Minus Vs by 2.
Minus Vs by 2. And what is VCN? VCN is, it is not connected to any phase, right? So therefore that load voltage is 0. Okay. Similarly, this is minus by 2. Okay. Similarly, in the next 60 degrees, 1 and 2 are in conduction, 1 and 2 are in conduction. So that is A phase is connected and C phase is connected. So now 0, B phase voltage is 0 and A phase is connected, right? So therefore its voltage is plus Vs by 2 and its C phase is connected to the negative terminal. So therefore this voltage is minus Vs by 2. So if you complete this one, so you will get like this. Okay. So waveforms are looks identical, right? The difference is, so these are the load phase voltages. Load phase voltages. These are the load phase voltages. Earlier one is the line voltages and these are the load phase voltages. And the other difference is, so these are varying from plus Vs by 2 to minus Vs by 2. So whereas in earlier in 180 degrees, those waveforms are line voltages and it is varying from plus Vs to minus Vs. Okay. So generally this 120-degree mode is not used anywhere. Okay. This 120-degree mode is not used anywhere. Why? Because the first reason is, so every time in any 60 degrees, one phase is left open, right? One phase is left open. So when the load is highly inductive, if you try to connect, see here for suppose in first 60 degrees, this C phase is not connected, right? The C phase is not connected. In the next 60 degrees, the C phase is connected, right? If the load is highly inductive, if you try to interrupt that inductive waveform, so large spark will occur, right? If you try to interrupt this inductive waveforms, inductive loads, the large sparking will occur. So therefore, we normally avoid this 120-degree mode of operation. Okay. Because one phase is always left open, right? We cannot predict the voltage of that particular phase. So therefore, so normally this 120 degrees is not preferred. In case of 180 degrees, any one device in each phase will operate. So therefore, that problem is not erased. So the advantage with 120 degree is, right? For example, this S1 and S4 are complementary, right? So this one and this one, so these two are complementary, right? This S1 and S4, so both are complementary. So if you notice that, right? So if you notice that there is a, what is the difference? How much duration when both switches are off?
60 degrees.
60 degrees, right? So there is a dead time. That means there is a dead time of 60 degrees is present between the switches S1 and S4. Similarly for the other devices in other phases. Okay. So naturally, you no need to provide some dead time circuits to prevent the simultaneous turn on of S1 and S4, right? This S1 and S4, if we simultaneously turn on, right, the source will be dead short circuit, right? So to prevent that, so there will be some small delay of 1 or 2 microseconds is present, right? In case of 180 degree, so there is no time delay, right? So immediately when S1 is off, the S4 is trying to turn on, right? In case of this 120 degrees, so there will be a delay of 60 degrees is present in between. Okay, so that is the advantage with 120 degrees. But at any cost, this 120 is not preferred when the load is highly inductive. When the load is highly inductive, especially for induction motor or any motor drive, so this 120 degree is not preferred. Okay, right. So this is about this 120 degree mode. So next we'll move to the other section. So that is PWM methods or voltage control methods.
Sir,
PWM methods or voltage control methods. So PWM is pulse width modulation. Pulse width modulation methods, right? So these are normally two different types. So one is voltage controlled methods, and another one is current control methods. So in case of voltage control methods, right, in case of voltage control methods, the output voltage is controlled, right? Output voltage is controlled. So normally this voltage control is required, right? When you are operating some induction motor drive or induction motor, if you want to normally, right, what is the speed of this induction motor? Means you know that, right? What is torque? Torque of this machine is proportional to proportional to voltage square, right? You know this relation, right? You know this relation, right?
Yes, sir.
Induction machine torque is normally proportional to voltage square, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So for example, if you want another one, so normally machines will be operated in V by F mode, right? V by F must be kept constant, right? So
Yes,
if you
sir.
keep this V by F constant, the air gap flux will be constant, right? The flux will be constant and the machine will not come, it means will not go to saturation, right? So therefore this flux must be kept constant. So this V is corresponding the output phase of this inverter. Okay, this frequency we can also control, right? So frequency is output voltage frequency. Okay, so normally how, for example, these all these inverters are majorly used in motor drives. I will draw a simple motor drive, how it will work, right? The available supply is AC, right? We have this available supply is AC, right? But the motor is also AC motor, we normally prefer, right? But this requires some variable output voltage and this variable frequency. This motor requires variable output voltage and variable frequency. Okay, our supply what we obtained is, right, by using this transformer we can control the, by using this transformer we can control the magnitude of this voltage, right? But we can't control the frequency. Okay, by using the transformers we cannot control the frequency, right? So we have this DC link inverters, right? So here the available supply AC is converted to DC, again is converted back to AC. Okay, so AC with required variable voltage and frequency. So these are known as DC link inverters. The idea is simple. So we have this rectifier, right? And the available input source to this one is an AC, right? You will get DC here, right? You will get DC here. This DC by using some filters, this DC smoothened, and after that it is giving to a inverter. So it is three-phase inverter. So here where we can control this voltage and you can control the frequency, right? And after that, so we can control the frequency, voltage, and after that, so it is given to a induction motor or any other motor. Okay. So this is AC to DC conversion and again AC to conversion. So that's why it is known as DC link inverters. Okay, DC link inverters, right? So this is known as front end converter or front end rectifier. This is known as front end converter or front end rectifier. Yeah. This is known as front end converter or front end rectifier. So this is back end or actual rectifier or actual inverter, right? So we'll discuss in later classes if you have time, right? So we'll come to our objective. So now, right, to control this output voltage of this inverter, so there are two methods, right? So there are two methods to control the output voltage of inverter. So one method is by controlling this DC source, right? So whatever the available voltage that is obtained from the rectifier, if you control output voltage of this rectifier, right? So then this V0 output voltage can be controlled. Output voltage of inverter can be controlled, or by using pulse width modulation techniques, we can control the output voltage of this inverter. Okay, either by controlling this rectifier, we can control the output voltage, or by controlling this or implementing the PWM inside the inverter, also control the voltage, right? So generally this method is not preferred, right? So why? Because if you want to control the inverter, you have to rely on the external circuit, right? So therefore, generally this not preferred. So only way or only adopted thing is this pulse width modulation technique, right? So this is used to the output voltage of the inverter, right? So normally, what is the output voltage that you obtained? So something like this, right? So this is the output voltage you obtained, right? Clear? What is its RMS value? You found that it is 2/3 Vs. Okay. So this is the width of the pulse, right? So for suppose if you reduce the width of this pulse, right? Reduce this width of the pulse. For example, I reduce this width to 60 degrees, right? Reduce this with 60 degrees. What should be the value of the output voltage? I reduced the width of this pulse to 60 degrees, right? What is the output voltage? Now it is 60 degrees by 1 degrees into Vs. The output voltage is 1/3 times Vs. Okay, 1/3 times V. So what you understand that by changing the width of this pulses, right, or output voltage, so the output voltage can be controlled. Now earlier it is 2/3 Vs, so now it is changed to √1/3. Okay, so by appropriate width you can control this, right? So based on that, so we have this single pulse width modulation technique. Okay, right? So you have to remember that whatever you are implemented, right, so that must be symmetrical. Okay, so this is how to implement a single pulse width modulation technique. Okay, so this is the output, so that what we obtained, right? So this is the output what we obtained. So it's something like this. I want this pulse, so width must be this delta. Okay, the width of this pulse must be delta. So I have this arrangement, right? I have this arrangement. So this one, right? So this is carrier signal, and this is the reference signal. right? So this is carrier signal and this is the reference signal. Okay. So now if you notice that carrier signal, so it is a triangle waveform. So why this kind of arrangement, right? To produce a symmetrical pulses, right? So this is the reference signal. So right. So you can notice these intersecting points. You can notice these intersecting points between the. You can notice the intersecting points between the carrier signal and this reference signal. So based on these intersecting points, so here this gating signal for the switches are generated. Okay. The gating signal switches are generated. This is the upper switch signal. So this is corresponding to S1 and this is corresponding to S4. Okay. This is corresponding to S1 and this is corresponding to S4. So this is out pulse. So when S1, we already discussed it, right? So when S1 is on, output voltage is Vs. When S1 is on, output voltage is Vs. When S4 is on, so output voltage is minus Vs. Clear? Okay. So here, by changing this reference signal magnitude, if I increase this magnitude, right? If I increase this, the reference point will cut. So it will cut somewhere here, right? So this is the new intersecting point, right? So therefore, the width of the pulse increases. Okay. So therefore, the width of the pulse increases, right? Similarly, if I increase here, so the width of the pulse increases. If we want to reduce the width, so we need to reduce the reference signal magnitude. Okay. We need to reduce this reference signal magnitude. If I reduce this one, so if I reduce this one, right? So this new intersecting point will cross here. Okay. So therefore, these are the new intersecting points, and this is the pulse the corresponding to this new intersecting point. Okay. So these carrier signals are the fixed signals, but the reference signal magnitude you can vary, right? The reference signal magnitude we can vary by changing the width of this pulse. You can actually controlling the output voltage magnitude. Clear? Output voltage magnitude. How to change the frequency? Output voltage frequency. How to change the output voltage frequency?
Change the frequency of reference.
If you change the frequency of this reference, right? If you change the frequency of this reference, we can change the output voltage frequency, right? If you change this frequency of this reference signal, so output voltage can be controlled, right? So in this way, we can control the both frequency of the output voltage and as well as magnitude of the output voltage, right? So what is the output RMS value? If the width is delta, what is its magnitude? What is its RMS value?
Vs into square root of delta by pi.
It is delta by pi into Vs, right? It is delta by pi into Vs. Okay, so that is its RMS value. Clear? Is clear? Okay. So this is known as single pulse with modulation, right? You can easily control this. So why these carriers are arranged this M shape and this W shape, right? It actually form an M shape, right? Okay, so this is forming a W shape, right? So because we need to place this, output must be symmetrical, right? So the output must be symmetrical. So therefore, this kind of arrangement is placed, right? If we something else, right, the output will not be symmetrical, and there is just some DC offset. To prevent that, the carriers are placed in M shape and W shape. Okay. So next, the drawback with this one is, right, still the drawback here. So when you have, you notice, right, so when you have this output voltage of this, right, okay, this is 30 degrees, so then only the third order harmonic will be eliminated. Okay, if this angle is 30 degrees, then only this third order harmonic will be 0. If other than this third order harmonic, so then only all the harmonics, that is other than this triplet harmonics, will not eliminate, right? You know this, you might have studied this, right? When placing the windings in a machine, so they're normally used at some 30 degrees displacement, right? So that the space, you might have studied in machines, right? So MMF waveform, this waveform is similar to the MMF waveform, right? You might have studied this, right? In distribution of windings in electrical machines, especially induction machine and synchronous generators. The windings are placed with some 30 degrees shift so that the third order harmonic, all the third order harmonics are eliminated. Okay. So if you have the 30 degree shift, so then this the third harmonic and sixth order harmonics are eliminated, right? So if you have some arbitrary angle, if you change this width, right, so all the harmonics will be present. So therefore, so we have this, instead of single pulse, right, instead of single pulse, we have this multiple pulses, so that its harmonic profile can be improved. So one thing we noticed, right, when it is a square wave, its TH is around 48%. So when you have this quasi square waveform, its TH is reduced to some 31%, right? If we have this kind of thing, if two pulses, right, so it may be further reduced. Okay, it may be further reduced. So with that idea, they're actually used this multi-carrier or multi-pulse PWM, multiple pulse PWM. Okay, the same thing, right? The same thing. So here the reference signal is same, that is a square wave. The reference is square wave. So like what we have this earlier. Okay, this is the reference. Okay. Here the difference is, instead of a single carrier, so we have these multiple carriers. Instead of single carrier, we have these multiple carriers. Okay. So this is carrier one interaction. So we have these pulses. So this is corresponding to the second one. So like this. So each time, see, when this reference signal is greater than the carrier signal, so then this firing pulse is generated for the gating signals corresponding to S1, and this is corresponding to S4. Okay. So this is how it will operate. So this is multipulse carrier PWM, right? Okay. So if we assume that the width of this each pulse is delta, and we have p number of pulses, in each off cycle. In each off cycle, we have p number of pulses. What is the output voltage RMS value? Can anyone tell?
Square root of P delta by pi into Vs.
Each pulse is delta, and we have p number of pulses, so that is 1. So this count is p, right? Again, this count is also p, right? So therefore it is p into delta by p pi into Vs. Outside square root, it is Vs. Okay, clear? Is clear, right? So p delta by pi into Vs. Okay, so here you have to remember that, so p must be number of pulses in each off cycle. Okay, pulses in each off cycle, and delta is the width of each pulse. Clear? And one more thing, we can define two terms. One is amplitude modulation index and amplitude modulation index and frequency modulation index. So this is not denoted with MA and this is denoted with MF. Right. So these two are the figure of merits. One is the amplitude modulation index and the second one is frequency modulation index, amplitude modulation index and frequency modulation index. So this MA, so this is responsible to control the output voltage magnitude. So this is responsible to control the output voltage magnitude. So whereas, so this can control the harmonic spectrum. Okay, or this can control the harmonics in the waveform, right? So this MA is defined as the peak value, right? The peak value of the modulating signal, that is V modulating signal peak value by V carrier signal peak value. Okay, modulating signal peak value by carrier signal peak value. So with this MF, that frequency modulation index, so it is defined as carrier frequency FCR by FM. So modulating signal frequency, so this is carrier frequency, whereas here this is modulating signal or reference signal. Modulating signal or reference signal, both are same frequency. Clear? Modulating signal or reference signal frequency. So in this case, so what is the frequency of this waveform? This carrier signal, right? How many carriers are there in one cycle? In positive half cycle or in 0 to, you have 5 carriers, and pi to 2 pi you have another 5 carriers, right? So that means 10 carriers in one cycle, right? So that means here MF, in this case MF is 10 and carrier frequency is 500 Hz. If we assume that FM is 50 Hz. Okay. So when you are calculating the carrier frequency, you must consider cycle. In one cycle, how many carriers are present, right? So in this case, you have, so in this case, you have 10 carriers. In 0 to pi, you have 5 carriers, and you have from pi to means pi to 2 pi, you have another 5 carriers, right? So here, all this corresponding to the intersecting points. For example, this MF, right? Okay, in first half, you have 5 carriers are there, so therefore 5 intersecting pulses, and similarly in the second half cycle, you have another 5, a total of 10 pulses. Okay, is clear? So these two are important. So when to control the amplitude, this amplitude modulation index MA used to control the output voltage, right? So when you increase this one, right, if I increase this value to this level, okay, so in that case the pulses will be increased, right? The width of the pulse is increased. The width of the pulse is increased. For example, if I change this one here, the pulses are increased. So therefore this delta will be increased. So therefore the output voltage will be increased. Okay, this amplitude modulation index control the output voltage, whereas the frequency modulation index, it can control the harmonic spectrum, right? Clear? So we'll stop here. Okay, we'll stop here. Next class,
Thank you, sir.
we will discuss a
Thank you,
sine
sir.
PWM technique, right? So if you have any doubts, you can ask now.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
How to know which harmonic is positive and negative?
That is sign, right? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Based on the sign, yeah, that we can say that magnitude, we can say that positive or negative. Okay.
For 5 and 7, both the sign will become negative only now, sir, because you are not taken the other term sin 7 pi by 3. That will give sin 5 pi by 3 will give negative
But
sign
it
now,
is,
sir.
rotation is in the opposite direction, right? You might have studied that. When you study the symmetrical components, you might have studied that, right? In power system, you will get this. Okay.
Okay.
In power system, you might have studied the symmetrical component, positive sequence, negative sequence, and all, right? Okay.
Okay.
So in case of that, right, that positive value, for example, where we studied here, right? This one. So one harmonic, this here, harmonic will rotate in the, right, it will rotate in the clock. For example, it will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. That means this one, this fundamental and this fifth order harmonic, so both are rotating in one direction, right? And the seventh order harmonic can rotate in the opposite direction, right? So one, this, for example, if you had to induction motor, you might have studied that, right? Cogging and clogging, when you studied this, right? Due to these harmonics, the fifth order harmonic is aiding the machine to operate, whereas the second order harmonic, during with fifth order harmonic, the torques related to fifth order harmonic, and you have the seventh order harmonic. These are the torques related to seventh order harmonic. So here this magnitude is positive. It means it's try to rotate the machine in one direction, whereas the seventh order harmonic it try to rotate in the other direction. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Clear.
So, sir, the
This,
relation between
you
line
can
voltage
see.
and phase voltage is not valid here.
The relation
So, the relation
between,
between line voltage and phase voltage, line voltage and V line is equal
that
to
is
root 3
lagging
times V
only.
phase
See
voltage.
here, it is exactly this sign omega t is there, right? Okay, precisely. If you assume that the sine wave, that is sine omega t, this is star connected, that is pi by 6. Okay, it is exactly this one. It is sine omega t pi by 6. This is your doubt?
So this relation is not valid. What is the reason?
What is the relation means?
So the line
Root.
So what we study is the line voltage is root 3 times V phase voltage.
Yeah, same thing. Root 3 times the V phase voltage only. Okay. So that root 3 times, remember that root 3 times is only when you have sinusoidal voltages. Okay. The derivation is under the assumption that the voltages are sinusoidal, right? Okay. So then only the root 3 is exact. Okay. Hello?
This relation is not valid here, no?
Your voice is not audible.
So this relation is not valid here, no? So
it is almost root 3 only, but not exactly root 3. Okay. See, when the source, see how when source means when voltages are sinusoidal, both line voltage and phase voltage are sinusoidal. So then it is exactly root 3. We have that derivation, right? The power triangle or something other, or some other things are there, right? By using the phasors, you might have studied in BTech first, right? So with that relation, that is exactly root 3. Sinusoidal, that is almost equal to root 3. Okay. Right, that is almost root 3. So it's more or less, we assume that the line voltages and phase voltages are in relation with root 3 only, right? But they're not exactly root 3. So that's why we normally not bothered about the phase voltages. Okay, we are only interested in line voltages. Actually, the line voltages that are actually feeding to the load, right? Any other doubts?
Sir, you said about the PWM technique we are using in inverters, sir. So how the
Yeah.
cost is increased, sir? Is there any extra circuitry required, or in the same inverter circuit we are doing? I mean, in a rectifier for
So
output.
you require some controller, right? So if you want to generate some firing signals, you must require some controller. For controller, you have to anyway you have to pay some extra, right? Okay. If you have PWM, you have multiple on and off instance. So here, one thing, the losses also increases slightly. Okay. So when you have on and off, right? We have two different losses in any circuit, right? One is conduction loss and switching losses. Okay, when it is device is conducting, so it has some loss. When the device is changing transition from on state to off state and off state to on state, that is switching losses. So then also the switching losses will increase, right? So in case of PWM, you have frequent on and off and on and off, right? So in that case, losses will occur, right? The best thing is in case of PWM, the output voltage quality will be improved. So how it will improve? So that you can that we will explain the next class. Okay, when you see the actual harmonic spectrums, so that you can understand.
Okay. Sir, thank you, sir.
Any other doubts?
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah,
hello.
Go ahead.
Sir, once more time explain, sir, how the PWM technique used to control the frequencies.
Frequency.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See here.
Yes.
I think this one, right? I think this is not visible properly. So here it is visible, right? You have this inside this, you have this square wave, right? The reference cell is a square wave, right? Okay. The reference cell is a square wave. This reference signal, the square wave, right? That one I am shown with green color. So that is a square wave, right? Okay. So when you change the frequency of that square wave, right? When you change the frequency of that square wave, so automatically the output voltage frequency changes, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Automatically the output voltage frequency changes, right? Clear?
Yes, clear.
So when you change this frequency, the frequency of this also changes, right? Because it is independent from DC side, right?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes.
So when, for example, if it is 100 Hz, right? If you want 200 Hz, just increase the time period or decrease the time period, right? So then only the output voltage is also changed. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So it can be more visualized. It's somewhat confusing, right? When you have a triangle and triangle wave comparison, so that can be better utilized, means better visualized. Okay.
Next.
Yeah, someone is asking something. Someone is asking one question. Go ahead. Any questions you have?
Can I ask you one question? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, the seventh harmonic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the seventh harmonic is a positive sequence harmonic, right?
That positive sequence or means fifth and seventh are in opposite direction. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe positive sequence or negative sequence, that we don't know. Okay.
Okay.
That means it's actually rotating in the other direction. Okay.
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
with respect to fundamental.
When it is aiding or yeah.
With respect to fundamental, seventh should be same as that of the fundamental.
With respect to fundamental.
Yeah. But you said it's opposite.
That all depends on the current. That all depends on the current magnitude. When it is aiding or when it's opposing, that all depends on the current.
Okay.
But fifth and seventh are always operating in complementary. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Fifth is rotating in the clockwise. Seventh is rotating in the anti-clockwise. That's it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. You cannot directly say without knowing the current sign. So you cannot directly say whether it is aiding or not. See, for example, in motor case, right? So when the fifth order is rotating in one direction, in clockwise direction, same thing in generator case. So it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, right? Okay. Any other questions you have? Can I stop?
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
where exactly do we use current source inverters?
We have yet to discuss that. Okay, we will discuss in later access. Okay. Now we are discussing only
Voltage
okay.
source. Yes, sir.
Okay, current source inverter we are using in motor drives and HVDC applications. We'll discuss that. Okay, right now we are focused only on voltage source inverters. Okay, we'll
Yes.
discuss in the next classes.
Okay.
Don't worry. Right now we are discussing only current source, means voltage source inverters, where we have voltage other side. Similarly, we have current source inverter. Actually, practically there is no current source is available, right? For the same DC source, if you connect an inductor, so that will act as a current source. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
that is also there, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll discuss in the next classes. Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm stop here. Let's stop here. Okay. If you have any doubts, so you can post it on the group. Clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.